How do sportsbooks set their odds? So one answer I've heard before is Vegas, they just know. They know where to price lines. And it's like, what does that even mean? Vegas is a city in Nevada. They know how to price sportsbook odds? That doesn't make sense. So if you look at the Colts, they're plus 330 money line on FanDuel, plus 310 on Caesars. So you may be wondering, like, why do these books have different odds? How does FanDuel get to plus 330? When do they know how to move lines? That's what we're gonna be covering in this video. Let's get into it. Alrighty guys, so I got the whiteboard up and we're gonna explain how sportsbooks set odds. And the first thing they have to do is it's called opening the market. They have to drop the initial line that we can bet on as sports bettors. So you can see on FanDuel, they initially opened the Colts money line at plus 350. Now it's down to plus 330, right? So another thing to mention is all these books, they all have their own models, right? The odds on DraftKings are not the same as the odds on Caesars, aren't the same as the odds on FanDuel. If every sportsbook had the exact same odds, we wouldn't need hundreds of them. So all these books are doing this independently, right? So the market's very fragmented. You think about the price of a stock, you go to Fidelity, E-Trade, Robinhood, it's gonna be the same price. In sports betting, all these books are setting their own lines, so sometimes there's pretty big discrepancies. But how do books open the market? And it's pretty simple. DraftKings, FanDuel, these are $10 billion companies. They have really good models, they have really good engineers, they have really good data feeds. What they do is they essentially give their estimate to the public. So for example, FanDuel releases, hey, we think the Colts are plus 350, feel free to bet on it, right? And then from there, the market is open. They can kind of see where are other sports books releasing odds. So if they launch the Colts at plus 350, all the other books are at plus 250, FanDuel will know, hey, our line's got to come down a bit. We opened the line too high relative to other books. So one thing to mention, when books first open the market, when they first release their odds or lines, that's often when you're gonna see the biggest discrepancies between sports books and when there's some of the best betting opportunities. So here's a quick example. McCaffrey, Prize Picks opened his line at 67.5 rushing yards. This is where they initially dropped his line. Underdog Fantasy opened his line 11 yards higher at 78.5. So what I did, just as a simple example, was I middle bet this. I bet the over 67.5, the under 78.5, so I would have won both bets if he had 68 to 78 yards. So that's a strategy that is often really effective, middle betting. Hit the over on the book with the lower line, hit the under on the book with the higher line. That is a very effective strategy, especially when books first release their lines. So how do books move around their odds? We know FanDuel, they released the Colts plus 350. Now it's down to plus 330. How does that work? And the first thing you have to think about is how do sportsbooks make money? And the way they make money is by charging a spread, which is called the VIG. Sportsbooks don't know the future. They make money by charging a spread. The same way a stockbroker will buy things for 10, sell it for 11, I'm 10 bid, I'm an 11 offer. They try to make that $1 risk-free spread. It's the same thing in sports betting, and I'll show you exactly what I mean. So FanDuel has the total in this game at 44.5, right? And they're giving you the same odds on the over and the under. Both are priced at minus 110. So that means betting 110 to win 100 and profit. So let's just say, for the sake of example, you don't want to be on the opposite side of bets as I am, but let's just say, right? Let's say you bet the over 44.5 at minus 110 odds for 110 bucks. So you're betting 110 to win 100 and profit on the over. And let's say I, on the other hand, bet the under for 110 bucks. I'm betting 110 to win 100 and profit on FanDuel. FanDuel just collected from both of us 220 bucks, right? I bet 110 on the under, you bet 110 on the over. The sportsbook just collected 220 bucks. But think about what happens, right? If the game goes over, you win your bet. You win 100 in profit. You bet 110 to win 100. You win 100 in profit, but I go down 110. The sportsbook makes 10 bucks, right? You make 100 bucks profit, I lose 110 because you're betting 110 to win back 100. Now, on the other hand, if the game goes under, I make 100, you lose 110, the sportsbook still makes $10. So that's called the VIG, right? That is the spread that sportsbooks charge. They force you on point spreads and totals, typically to bet 11 to win back 10, to bet 110 to win back 100, right? And they hope equal action, right? The same way here, if we both bet 110 bucks on equal and opposite outcomes, you take the over, I take the under, FanDuel makes a risk-free profit of $10. They make $10 no matter what. Doesn't matter if the game goes over or under. And that's how books work. They want equal action coming in on both sides of the market. They want an equal amount of money coming in on the over and an equal amount of money coming in on the under, so they can make that risk-free profit, that VIG. Equal money on the over, equal money on the under means sportsbooks are just making risk-free profit from the spread. It's kind of like, you know, I used to be a trader. So if you're a trader, there's nothing better in the world than when everyone is buying something at 10 and then you can flip it for 11. Sell it at 11, buy it for 10. Sell it at 11, buy it at 10. You keep making $1 of risk-free profit. But what you have to consider is what happens if lopsided action comes in. Sportsbooks don't want risk. They want to make their risk-free profit. They want to make their spread. They want equal action coming in on both sides. So what books will do is they'll move around lines due to where action's coming in. So let's say FanDuel opened this total at 44.5. Let's say everyone is betting the over, right? What do you think the sportsbook's gonna do? FanDuel is gonna move lines higher. Let's say 60% of the bets are coming in on the over 44.5 on FanDuel at minus 110 odds. What FanDuel's gonna do is move the total up to 45. Then let's say it's 55% of the bets that are coming in on the over, 45% the under. Then they'll move the total even higher to 45.5. The market is telling them, hey, you know, there's a lopsided amount of bets coming in on the over, they move the line higher. Then maybe at 45.5, once again, the book reaches equilibrium. Equal action, 50% of the bets coming in on the over, 50% the under. The sportsbooks are making their risk-free profit called the VIG. They're happy. So all sportsbooks are doing when they're moving around lines is balancing action. The same way a stockbroker, and I mean, I used to be a trader, so I can speak to this, is when you're a trader, you set a market. Let's say you think a stock is worth $100. You say, hey, I'm gonna buy it for 99. I'm gonna sell it for 101. But if everyone keeps buying it from you at 101, you're like, whoa, maybe I should buy this for 99.50 and sell it at 101.50. And if everyone's still buying it from you at 101.50, you say, hey, maybe I should buy it at 100 and sell it at 102. Is you keep taking your line higher until there's equal action coming in to buy and sell. And that's exactly what sportsbooks are doing. So FanDuel had the Lions, right, at plus 350. And once they open the odds, all of the power is in where action is coming in the market. If everyone starts betting the Lions, sportsbooks will move odds towards the Lions. If everyone starts betting the Ravens, books will move lines towards the Ravens. They're just trying to make their risk-free profit, the VIG or the spread. Now, one thing to mention is sometimes when crazy things happen, books will pull their odds and then they'll reopen the market. So as an example, let's say it's the Lakers game and LeBron and Anthony Davis both get injured together, I don't know, in practice. That's obviously gonna massively move the odds on the Lakers game. Their two star players are out. So what books will typically do is they'll pull their odds down. So they'll say nobody right now can bet on the Lakers game, and then they'll have to reopen the market and it'll be the same process as before. Maybe the Lakers were initially minus 200 favorites. They open as plus 150 underdogs. And then once again, as action comes into the market, books are gonna move around lines due to supply and demand. Just like the price of a stock changes due to supply and demand, same thing in sports betting. So we have explained how sportsbooks open their odds. Again, most of these companies, all these sportsbooks I've listed here, FanDuel, DraftKings, Caesars, MGM, they're billion-dollar companies. They have pretty good models, pretty good data feeds. They do a decent job at opening lines, although you can find some good betting opportunities. And then they move around lines due to supply and demand, right? These sportsbooks don't want tens of millions of dollars of risk on one team. If all the action is coming in on the Celtics, Caesars will eventually move lines towards the Celtics, right? They have algorithms that do this for them. But what I haven't explained is how interconnected the sports betting market is, because all these books set lines independently. So let's say every sharp bettor, these are four of the main sports books in the US, they're available in basically every state. But let's say everybody thinks, hey, the Celtics are gonna win, they shouldn't be underdogs, and everybody all the sharp bettors, the sports betting syndicates, whatever you want to call them, everyone starts betting the Celtics at plus 118. Caesars is getting a lopsided amount of action. Well, they're going to move their odds on the Celtics, right? Maybe down to plus 108. So let's just say, for the sake of example, so much action, and this is to prove to you how interconnected the sports betting market is. Let's say all the action's coming in on the Celtics, that the Celtics actually switch to being the favored team. So let's say the Celtics are bet from plus 118 to minus 130. I know this is extreme, but it's for the case of an example. Minus 130. Blue is the new line after everyone, all the sharp bettors, bet on the Celtics to win on Caesars. Now the Warriors, obviously they have to be the underdog now. So let's say Caesars makes them plus 105 odds, right? So now we have this new line where you can see Caesars is a huge discrepancy versus the rest of the market. And let me show you why this isn't possible. What's gonna happen? It's just as a simple example, let's say you are a sharp bettor, you only use two sports books, MGM and Caesars. MGM has the Celtics as the underdog at plus 105. We're imagining this market isn't, very connected. Caesars, on the other hand, if you can see that, they have the Warriors as the underdog at plus 105. So you can get both the Celtics on MGM and the Warriors at plus 105 odds. So this is called arbitrage betting, and I'll show you how you can make risk-free profits. And again, these inefficiencies can't exist in the market forever, which is why sportsbooks end up updating. So you can see MGM here. They have the Celtics at plus 105 as an underdog. Let's say we bet $100 on it. We're betting 100 to win 105 in profit if the Celtics win. On Caesars, we'll bet the Warriors plus 105 odds, betting 100 to win 105 in profit. Now, either the Celtics or the Warriors are gonna win this game, right? There's no ties in the NBA. One of these teams is gonna win, one is gonna lose. I bet $200 total. $100 on the Celtics at plus 105 on MGM, $100 on the Warriors plus 105 on Caesars, right? So I bet $200 total. So what's gonna happen is if the Celtics win, I go up 100 at plus 105 odds, so I go up $105 profit on BetMGM, and I lose $100 on Caesars, right, if the Celtics win. So I'm up $5 of profit. Now let's say the Warriors win the game. I'm down 100 on BetMGM, right? I bet 100 at plus 105 odds on the Celtics, but I go up 105 on Caesars. I'm up 105 on Caesars, down 100 on MGM. Once again, I make $5. This is called arbitrage. It's when sportsbooks get super out of sync, in this case Caesars and BetMGM, where you can bet two sportsbooks, equal and opposite outcomes, Celtics on MGM, Warriors on Caesars, to guarantee a risk-free profit. If this were the case, for every $200 I bet, I make $5 risk-free. So sportsbooks will eventually have to update, right? Because what MGM is gonna do is if I just keep hammering this arbitrage bet and I keep making $5 risk-free, this can't go on forever. The market eventually has to come back into equilibrium, right? And that's how the sports betting market is connected, right? So maybe all the sports books end up switching to having the Celtics as the favored team. But when arbitrage exists, when you can bet on two sports books, equal and opposite outcomes, to guarantee a risk-free profit, that line has to eventually move. You can't have risk-free profits. These inefficiencies exist in the market forever. But anyways, I hope this video was helpful. We discussed how do sportsbooks set odds, how do they open their lines while they have really sophisticated models. These are $10 billion companies. How do they move their lines? Largely just based on supply and demand. If there's an injury, maybe they'll lock the market, pull the odds before they put them back up and reopen the market. And we also explained how the market is interconnected, right? Things can't happen in static, because if I use Caesars and MGM in this scenario, I could bet both, make a risk-free profit. But regardless, I hope this video was helpful. If you have any questions, comment down below. You can reach out to me, alex@oddsjam.com, whatever's helpful. I'm happy to help out. And let's make some money, guys.